Another misconception that all Indians eat curry. Indian is not a language. There's the caste system, an outdated notion that many assume defines everyday life in India. Part of it stems from colonial narratives that painted India as an impoverished and backward country. People rely on second-hand information or skewed media portrayals, missing out on the real India. India, vibrant, diverse, and rapidly evolving, often finds itself misunderstood in the West.
Why are you here? Do you think that you just can invade Poland? You have your own country. How come you don't go back to your own country?
Today, we're diving into the biggest misconceptions about this incredible nation, busting myths and painting a fuller, richer picture. So stick around because by the end of this video, you might just see India in a whole new light. Let's start with one of the most persistent stereotypes, the idea that India is defined by poverty and slums.
מה אתם חושבים על הודו?
מעניינת, אבל בחיים לא הייתי הולכת.
למה?
לא הייתי נוסעת לבקר. לא יודעת, אולי הריח יותר מדי מלוכלך.
Yes, while challenges exist, but this narrative overlooks the booming middle class and thriving urban centers like Mumbai, Delhi, and Bengaluru. These cities are hubs of finance, tech innovation, and entertainment. Picture gleaming skyscrapers, bustling streets, cutting-edge startups. Not exactly the image you'd get from the movies or news stories, right? India is a nation on the move, constantly reshaping itself. Another misconception that all Indians eat curry. Fun fact, curry isn't even a traditional Indian term. Indian cuisine is as diverse as its people, with regional specialities like Chettinad dishes from Tamil Nadu or Rogan Josh from Kashmir. Many Indians don't even eat what's commonly referred to as curry. It's a cuisine bustling with variety, complexity, and flavor. Reducing it to a generic term doesn't do it service. And then there's the mystical image of India as a solely spiritual land. Yes, yoga and spirituality have roots here, but India is also a global leader in science, technology, and modern lifestyles. Cities like Hyderabad, Bengaluru are home to some of the world's biggest tech firms. Indians aren't just into meditation under banyan trees. They're coding, innovating, and creating the future of the world. Speaking of misconceptions, let's talk about language. Indian is not a language. India has 22 official languages and over 19,500 dialects. While Hindi and English are widely spoken in India, regional languages like Tamil, Bengali, and Telugu dominate daily life. Imagine the cultural and linguistic richness that comes from navigating a country where every state feels like its own unique world. And Bollywood, while it's undeniably massive, it's only part of India's cinematic landscape. Regional film industries like Tollywood and Kollywood creates some of the world's most breathtaking and impactful cinema. Some Indians even prefer these regional films over Bollywood blockbusters. To truly appreciate Indian cinema, you've got to look behind the glitz of Bollywood. Then there's the caste system, an outdated notion that many assume defines everyday life in India. While remnants of it still do exist, especially in rural areas, its influence has diminished significantly in urban India as of today.
Are very much a product of how this country is run.
Social reforms, education, and legal protections are reshaping society. Meritocracy is on the rise, and India's youth are pushing for a more inclusive future. But why do these misconceptions persist?
Beyond the traffic, which makes it very difficult to cross the road, as we're going to see, you can see how basically in India, as we've found in so many places, hey bro, pavements don't really exist.
Part of it stems from colonial narratives that painted India as an impoverished and backward country. These stereotypes were tools of dominance, and unfortunately, they're still sticking around in Western countries.
Creators, and trust me, there is some outrage here. Broadly, if you look at other people's depiction of India, you would see that India is often perceived as an extremely unhygienic and unclean place. For example, look at the show Family Guy, where there's an episode where Stewie and Brian visit India, and look at how India is portrayed there.
I can already smell the enlightenment and tranquility.
Media representation doesn't help either, focusing disproportionately on extreme stories while ignoring India's achievements like space exploration or its thriving tech industry. Simplification is another culprit. India's diversity can feel overwhelming, so it's often reduced to digestible stereotypes which do more harm than good. The lack of direct exposure to Indian culture in the West compounds the issue.
The government of China has launched a campaign teaching citizens about road safety rules. How? By insulting Indians.
Chinese public security minister shamelessly lifted this.
People rely on second-hand information or skewed media portrayals, missing out on the real India. The one that's dynamic, modern, and deeply rooted in its heritage. So how can we change this narrative? Indians living abroad have a unique role to play. By showcasing India's diversity, whether through stories about unique cuisines, languages, or festivals, they can offer a more authentic view of the country. Highlighting India's modern achievements like the Chandrayaan-3 mission or its bustling urban centers can shift the focus from stereotypes to reality. And when faced with misconceptions, it's all about respectful dialogue. For instance, if someone says all Indians eat curry, take the opportunity to share the incredible diversity of Indian cuisine. These small, thoughtful corrections can go a long way in fostering understanding in the Western world.
It is shown as an extremely crowded place with animals roaming everywhere, flies here and there, and a lot of stench. But wait a second, why do you think we are portrayed that way? In fact, in India, there are so many places that are actually visually pleasing. They're aesthetic, they're beautiful, they're clean, they're hygienic. And this is even more true for the countryside and the smaller villages of India.
Social media and storytelling platforms are also powerful tools. Encouraging people to visit India is another game changer. While travelers move beyond cliches like the Taj Mahal or explore Rajasthan's forts, Kerala's backwaters, or Ladakh's mountains, they discover a side of India that defies stereotypes.
You were in India.
Yes.
What did you think?
About India?
Yeah.
Wow. India is one of the most incredible places I've been. Actually, it's, when I was traveling there, it's changed a lot of the way I was thinking about the world.
And sharing tips on safety, hospitality, and even local experiences can make that journey more inviting.
היית בהודו? מתי היית בהודו?
הייתי פעמיים בהודו, הייתי ב-2008 וב-2014. 12.
אוקיי, מה חשבת?
מה חשבת?
איך היה?
מושלם.
כן?
מקום...
Ultimately, it's all about being role models.
Dissonance that I had after coming back from Japan was shocking. I was in a country where every single person is absolutely so organized and so considerate of other people around them. In India, people use their phones on the metro and the train on full blast. In Osaka, people absolutely do not speak on a train.
Indians excelling abroad can showcase how they balance tradition with modernity, how they integrate while staying rooted in their own heritage. And when the media gets it wrong, challenge it. Support accurate portrayals and promote content that captures India's complexity, its successes, and its ongoing challenges.
Now, back in 2013, Washington Post had done a study that actually concluded that Indians are some of the most racist individuals out there.
India is a nation of contrasts, innovation, and deep-rooted heritage. It's time for the world to see it for what it truly is. A place of immense diversity, resilience, and progress.
In spite of having so much diversity, in spite of speaking so many different languages, being a hub for all sorts of people, Indians are actually shockingly very racist towards each other and everyone else.
And that starts with each of us, sharing, celebrating, and correcting the narrative one conversation at a time.